While we've come a long way in terms of opening up the world of radio control to open source software, a good deal of the hardware itself is still closed up. You can flash a cheap RC transmitter with a community-developed firmware. In fact, there's a decent chance that's what it ships with, but the hardware itself is still an immutable black box. That might be fine if you're just flying an RC plane or quadcopter, but what if you've got something a bit more advanced in mind? An in-development version of the hardware. To address this issue, Alireza Safdari has spent the last several years working on a truly open-source RC transmitter that can be modified and augmented to meet the user's needs, called the Alpha V1. With the hardware and software nearing completion, he's looking to get some community feedback on the system before the planned crowdfunding campaign kicks off. From his personal experience, Alireza found that traditional RC transmitters have their limits when you start using them for robotics. You'll often want input schemes or devices which would never occur to the remote's designers, and you'll almost certainly want to have more channels and functions than the original hardware will allow. One of the big advantages with the Alpha V1 is that the front and back of the controller are simple acrylic panels, meaning you can easily cut openings or drill holes in them to add more hardware without having to deal with the relatively ergonomic shapes of a traditional transmitter. Of course, that's only one half of the equation. When you add new hardware, you'll need to make the software aware of it. To that end, Alireza says he and his team have developed a library of adaptable firmware modules which should make it very easy to add in new components without having to get bogged down with software configuration. In fact, he says the goal is to allow the user to add new hardware to the Alpha V1 without requiring them to write a single line of code. The Alpha V1 communicates at 2.4 GHz using either XP or Murata DNT24 radios, and supports as many as 72 individual channels as well as two-way telemetry. If your requirements aren't quite so high, we've recently covered a significantly less intimidating attempt at building an open-source RC transmitter that might suit your needs.